I've said before that I view our society is like playing in the sandbox. That we're still like little kids. That's still how I look at it. Playing in the sandbox, playing a make-believe game, and still, we've forgotten that it's just a game. And we have these roles, and we take it so seriously. Like Joe is the manager. That's not make-believe, boy. He's the manager. Is he, really? So if Joe dies, then we don't have a manager for our company anymore. Is that a fact? No, because of course we'll just replace him. Because manager is just a role that Joe was performing. We'll find someone else to play the role of manager. It's just make-believe. Yeah, people will have a lot of respect, sincere respect for Joe because he's the manager. But guys, especially, that patriarchal, instinctual view that men have, right? I don't know quite how to put it. That's a whole other subject, but there's this kind of automatic, kind of instinctual politics in men to respect the alpha male, kind of, and to follow along with that. I don't exactly. That's probably just happened through thousands of years. It's still in our nature. And there's the matriarchal system, which is a little different. But anyway, I'm not talking about system or politics. I'm talking about instincts and leadership and whatnot. But anyway, certainly there are people who have that leader quality about them, and then there are people who take on that quality. But the roles, the titles, the positions are make-believe, and anyone who has a role of manager, could be fired, and then someone else who you regarded as a follower or maybe as a pathetic weasel of a person might become manager, and then you have to take orders from this person. But it's all make-believe, and that's the thing, is that we get taking it way too seriously. Now the question is here, is life a game or is it an adventure? And some people look at it as a game, and there is truth in that, because we don't know what we're doing, we don't understand, the answers. There are consequences for things that we can't figure out, or that we don't know what's coming. If we can stay ahead of the game, so to speak, there are rewards. It is very much like a game in a way, but it's also like an adventure in that sense, is that there are challenges that we're meant to overcome, and we accept this adventure of life. We get up out of bed every day and go back into this crazy world, and we just keep on going. We're driven magnetically to the light, to the sense of understanding of godliness. I mean, if you look at the human race and human civilization, it's all about desiring to feel powerful or secure. Because without knowledge, without the feeling that we are connected to the universe and we have the answers, we feel powerless and weak. And so we'll always turn to religion and to science, for answers. It's been this way for thousands of years. And will be still probably for thousands of years, unfortunately. We feel the need to become one with the universe, to understand the universe, essentially to evolve. And, people feel the need to procreate. They feel the need to carry on the family name, to carry on patriotism in our countries. And, there's a sense of evolving beyond the individual even. It's through family and through your nation, and to your race, There's this feeling that we have to keep going on. And I think that the word progress used politically these days really reflects something instinctive. That's why it's so powerful to use. Businessmen will say, well, we have to keep things going on because this is progress. What they're implying there psychologically is evolution. But business is not evolution. That's a different thing. That's part of the make-believe. But they'll put that psychological spin on it and just say it's progress. And that's why they keep it short and sweet. Because subconsciously we're interpreting that as evolution. Oh, that's important. We have to keep evolving. That's what life's all about. We're all driven for it. I mean, someone can be deeply depressed and contemplating suicide. Yet if a truck comes tearing down the street towards them, the instinct is to jump out of the way. It's the same way with people who are helped with committing suicide. They'll have like a gas mask, to knock them unconscious and kill them peacefully. I saw a documentary on this one time. These people who help people to pass on. And they have an instinct, these people. The last minute, they'll reach up to try to grab a hold of the mask to pull it off, even if they're in incredible pain and they really need to kind of pass on. The instinct is to live, man. We have this magnetic, powerful, passionate draw to keep going. None of us know what it is. I just call it the light. Some people call it God. Scientific or intellectual-minded people would say it's just looking for the answers of life to life. But it's instinctive. It's not intellectual. It's something that has existed in us throughout our evolution. All species are pulled to this thing. It's something beyond intellect. This is something deeper than that. This is something spiritual. We are drawn to this thing because we feel we are mere mortals, and we are lost and confused in this game of life, so to speak. And so we are drawn to the light. The thing is that we get confused about it. And why I don't like thinking of life as a game is because that helps the superficial perspective on life of, like, say, screwing around and not appreciating, respecting your body or your emotions, of not looking after your children, leaving them with strangers and to run off and party, and how people just don't appreciate what's real and what's sacred and what matters in life because they're looking at it as something superficial. They really believe that life is a game. And it's like that song by Madonna, Material World. That is a very common perspective that people have. They may not realize it, but subconsciously, I know subconsciously, but in a big way, they're looking at life as something materialistic, and they're looking at it as a game. Even their own emotions. Nothing is sacred to a lot of people. It's just a game these days. That's why I like to look at life as more of an adventure. I know that horrible things can happen. A young innocent woman can be abducted off the street of her own neighborhood where she felt safe, and then she can be raped and tortured to death. And there is no meaning in that. And you know how life works. It's really strange. One of her siblings might have had a psychic dream like a year before that was going to happen to her, and then it does. So what was that psychic dream? Was that because it was meant to happen for some reason? How could it be meant to happen? What's the spiritual value in that? What could she have learned? You could say her soul had a lesson to learn. It was a spiritual learning. How does being raped and murdered teach you anything spiritually? I mean, that's ridiculous. I'm sorry. Sometimes, excuse my language, shit just happens, As for the psychic thing, then that's a whole other thing. Psychic dreams that come true and whatnot, to every detail. Is that like a warning maybe? Someone or something is warning us? If things are meant to happen the way they do, why? Why, when there is nothing to be learned from something, does something have to happen? Or maybe it doesn't have to happen. I don't know, and like I've said, I don't have the answers. We all just have bits and pieces of this puzzle. And this is what annoys us, and we keep trying to get the rest of the pieces and get it together. But unfortunately, we're not going to. We need to accept life as a mystery, and that's a beautiful thing, because in being true to that, you're being true, and you're following the path. The natural path, the spiritual path, you're on the right track, and acknowledging the mystery. If you think you have the answers or that you can solve it, then you're losing touch with the path, because we don't have the answers. You cannot just work it out intellectually. I mean, science can be interesting; it can help find some of the pieces. Religion, and psychic powers and all this stuff is fascinating, and we learn bits and parts of it. But ultimately, it's a long and mysterious journey. But I am against the concept of looking at life as a game, because that devalues what is real and what is sacred. And it puts what is real and sacred on the same level as what is completely artificial. And of course I understand that personality is created from the soul essentially, and that we are all kind of, in a way, yes, playing a kind of game here, but at the same time there is the energy expression and the soul that embodies itself in different forms, such as your physical body, your heart, your soul, the things that you connect to. These are the things that really are real, in a sense, that they really mean something. And to not get that, and to think that Joe being a manager is just as real as Timmy being your son, that one has just as much truth as the other, is ludicrous. And people don't see that, because they're caught up in believing the game and taking it as literal. And that's why, although there is truth in the statement that life is a game, I am against looking at it in that way, because it empowers that state of mind of the materialistic bullcrap being the way to look at things, when actually that is the problem, that we're not appreciating what is sacred, and we're acknowledging what is totally artificial make-believe as something that is just as sacred as what really is sacred, and that's ridiculous. That's why I choose to look at life as an adventure, right? Which it certainly is an adventure, although horrible things do happen, and again, I do not understand why, only that we are living in a world where obviously there are no guarantees. Anything that can happen probably will happen, and there doesn't always appear to be a reason for it. But I don't believe it's a whole lot of nothing for no reason. I won't subscribe to that. To me, that's madness. This is all like a tapestry that we just don't understand, and we are still light years away from understanding, I think.